Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Wild Wisdom Podcast. I am your Mediterranean mud whistle, Peter Stockbridge, and I'm joined once again by Mark.
Hello.
And Alon.
G'day.
Oh God, how are we doing, lads? It's been a while.
It's been a while, yeah. It's all right. It's still summer, technically. You know, we're here in our jock straps, sweating away, ready to go.
Yeah.
But as they say, absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Absolutely.
It does indeed. Yeah, well, we're ready to just sort of dive right in.
What a year. This is a big year.
Just before we do, though, I just want to say for the last episode, which is the next one, we're going to be joined by a very good friend of ours who runs a channel on Instagram called Every Shot of Painting, Dino, good old Dino, and he's going to join us for the last episode. He's expressed a great interest, and so we're looking forward to his input for the last episode there.
Give him a follow on Instagram too.
Yeah.
Yes. Go on there and give him a follow. Okay, let's crack on with the first movie of 1988, Die Hard.
What a film. What a film. It's a film that I guess reinvented a genre, really, the action movie.
Yeah, it's a quintessential action film. When you think action film, you instantly think Die Hard.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I can't think of another film like this. Not necessarily scenario, but the way it was shot. As well as this, as exciting as this. In the previous, in the decade that we're talking about. It's John McTiernan directing, the great John McTiernan.
Who just come off from doing Predator.
Yeah,
the year before.
He was red hot off of making that, and thank goodness they gave him a shot at doing this because, like I say, he reinvented the genre, and it also made a star of Bruce Willis, who was
this is first role?
First kind of leading role. He's made a couple of little bit part films in. He did a Blake Edwards film called Blind Date with Kim Basinger and things, and he did a lot more sort of comedy-based little films. But this is his first kind of, I guess, main leading role, and also it's an action film because primarily he was most famous for the TV show Moonlighting.
That's right.
Which with Sybil Shepherd, which is very popular in the 80s. I watched it as well, and it was always on very late on BBC One, and it's very sort of tongue-in-cheek, a bit spoofy, but he was very great in it, Bruce, and he had a lot of sort of natural, very charismatic guy, very, very, very talented, very, very good with the one-liner.
The camera liked him.
Yeah, and the camera liked him too.
Yeah.
He was good, but he wasn't first choice. Though originally, I think obviously they offered it to the main big guns such as Arnie and Stallone and Sinatra. Weirdly enough, Frank Sinatra,
Really?
who was the reason he was contractually obligated because the guy who wrote this book that the film is based on is technically a sequel to a Frank Sinatra film that he made back in the 60s called The Detective. Roderick Thorpe, I believe, is the author's name. And he wrote this sequel that was kind of, it was the basis for Die Hard, where it's set in a building and people hijack the building and take it over. So, and technically his character from The Detective was in the thing, so he had to have first refusal, which of course he did because he was basically,
Thank God,
very old by then. Frank, God bless him. I can't see him running around in a vest and see him with the cigarettes, but not running about with a machine gun. But yeah, so Bruce Willis is like 6th or 7th choice. He wasn't the first choice, but he was able to command a record fee for doing it. I think he got like $5 million, which was for an unestablished start, for the time of the ACA, and also he wasn't a big box office star at the time, but they managed to wrangle it, and thank goodness they did because it paid off in,
it really worked.
This was also a first for Alan Rickman.
Yeah, this is actually his first feature film, believe it or not.
He smashed it.
I mean, they talk about getting lucky. They found him in the production of Dangerous Liaisons. They were doing it was a big thing on Broadway. And they just wanted one, I guess an English person, because this is also the time where they're starting to have great British actors as villains in Hollywood films. And he's the one you think of now when you think of the classic Hollywood bad guy.
He will not be joining us for the rest of his life.
I mean, he's great, but they got him for peanuts because he was primarily a theatre actor. He'd done things on television in England. But they got him for this, and lucky enough, he said, "Yeah, I'll have a go." He liked the concept. I think he'd seen Predator, and he met Bruce Willis, and it all seems to. But he said in post interviews, he said, "I was just hired because I was cheap, no, not because I think I'm a great actor or anything." But during the film, and they found out that yes, he was one, a very good actor, but also he was good with accents. He was doing he thought he was good at accents. I mean, he's doing a kind of faux German accent in the film, and at some point during the film, he starts to speak American because he gets captured by Bruce Willis at one point in the film.
Oh yeah.
And they like the fact he could do some accents, and they thought, well, this would be great to have the main characters meet before the ending, so they don't know who the other one is. They actually added that into the film before. It wasn't the original script. That was something that was ad-libbed, and him and Bruce, because they were good at improvising, they come up with that scene. Bill Clare. Yeah.
But it was a good mix between comedy, action, and drama as well.
Oh yeah. You got all those elements, and in a great setting. A high-rise building that's been locked off. You can't escape. There's no way out. And our hero, oddly enough, he's in caught mid dressing or undressing. He's only in his
his shorts and a t-shirt, isn't it?
He's got trousers, but he's barefoot as well, and all he's got is his handgun and a vest.
Sheaston Finster.
He didn't have time to put shoes on.
No, literally in the film, because I rewatching it again, he's because the reason he's got his shoes and socks off is that he's bad at flying, and when he arrives at the start of the film, the guy says, make fists with your toes and it'll help you get over your ground you again once you're after a bad flight. And he's doing it, and he goes, it actually works. And just as he does that, gunshots go off, so he literally grabs his gun, runs into the door, and sees what's going on, and that's it. Literally no time to stop and get you. Although they do make a joke later on in the film where he does kill a terrorist and takes his shoes and tries them on, and they don't fit.
Fuck.
And he's just like, 9 million terrorists in the world, I got to kill one with feet smaller than my sister. So. Yeah,
I like the gag where he's going through the same spot twice somewhere at the top of the building. And he sees that sort of page 3 girl on the wall. He goes, ladies.
Not now. No, he's got. I love that, but that's all Bruce. I think. I don't think any of that's scripted. It's It's. I like it. Yeah, I mean, and it's a great twist in the film as well because of the you think it is terrorists taking over a building of a Japanese company that own the building. And of course, it's not. It's actually a heist movie, and they have all this money locked away in a vault. And the only way you can get the vault is to pretend to be terrorists, and they turn off all the power. By turning off all the power, it opens the safe for them to get all these hundreds of millions of dollars.
But it's quintessential 80s action.
Yeah.
Movie,
Oh God, yeah. It's done for real. The explosions are done for real. Great proper stunts. At one point he's trapped on the roof, and the roof's about to blow up, and the only way off it is via a fire hose.
So he wrap it around himself.
Bunches off the top of the building.
Probably set the trend for bungee jumping.
He did, yeah. I mean, it's his character is also, he's not a gung-ho kind of cop. He's literally flying by the seat of his pants, as they say. He's
well, he'll get the job done.
Yeah, it's the last resort of just trying to. Yeah, he wings the whole film. Just trying to get through and get just to survive, and not by surviving, rescue thing and take out the terrorists as he goes along.
I personally like the black guy that he's on the radio with.
Yeah, he's good at
Hal.
Shopping for his Twinkies.
For my wife. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
She's pregnant. Yeah, sure. Yeah. He fits the stereotype of the desk jobbed cop who eats too many sweets and cakes and things, but no, it's good, a nice little relationship as well. There's another great scene with Bruce's because he's barefoot and all his feet are cut up with the broken glass.
Sheaston Finster.
That's it. Shoot the glass, and he has a very emotional scene, and he says to Al Powell, "If I don't make it, just tell my wife I was sorry for being a prick." And and I love her and everything, and it's done fairly straight. He does it really well. He's almost crying in it, and it's a great little moment just before the big bending. The big blowing up. Nice cameo from Robert Darby playing one of the Johnson agents.
Yes, from the FBI.
Yeah, he's from the FBI.
The ending where Hans Gruber is sort of he
it's a great
loses
ending,
his grip and he falls, and when they were filming it's probably popular knowledge now, but it was supposed to be on a 1, 2, 3, and then they let him go when they were filming. But they let him go a second early, and you see him shit himself.
Yeah, it's very clear to see in widescreen that he was
not expecting
that one. But it added to the realism.
Oh no!
And he fell a good sort of 30, 40 feet into an airbag. It wasn't
quite a height. Yeah.
Again, because he was not a name, he didn't have to be insured. So, and they left it till the end. So if he did break his neck or his leg, doesn't matter. They got the rest of the film.
They got it all in the can. Yeah.
At showbiz.
Yeah, showbiz.
Is it a Christmas movie?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it is.
I think it is. It's a Christmas party, so it's Christmas.
It's on Christmas Eve. There's lots of Christmas references, and the soundtrack has the little sleigh bells in the on the soundtrack.
Yep.
I mean that to me it just says Christmas.
Well, it's got to be then.
But at the same time, you can watch it any time of the year.
Yeah, of course you can.
It doesn't have to be. A bit like the Lethal Weapon that's set at Christmas, but he doesn't ram it down your throat that it's Christmas.
Yeah, no, yeah, this is it's one of my favourite action movies from the 80s.
I
think this is the action movie of the 80s. I'm calling it.
Okay, yeah,
already.
That is a fair comment. It's probably the.
Well, at least at this point. I know we've got a big year to get through for 89.
I mean, there's a bundle of them, but you would put this at the top.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah. No, great.
Stands the test of time.
And absolutely, I was just going to say that. I mean, sequels, some are good, some aren't good. But
the second wasn't very good. Third one was amazing. I like.
Yeah, third one was awesome as well. Yeah, and I don't care for the rest personally.
Yeah, I saw the fourth one when I put my car in for a service. I need to spend some time, so yeah.
Yeah. You wish you sat in your car now.
Yeah, I do.
No, it's good. No, the first one it stands the test of time, as you say.
It's timeless.
Yeah.
Well, that was Die Hard. Yeah, I mean, as we said, it's a really good one. So if by some weird set of reasons you haven't seen it and you like action movies, go and watch it. Okay.
Or you'll beat them up.
Oh yeah, I'll come round. And
yeah.
Do a Hans Gruber on you.
There will not be a fault.
Put a gun to your head. Yeah. Okay, so
threaten our listeners.
Sorry, we don't mean it. All right, moving on to an absolute corker, legendary, absolutely brilliant, legendary film, Coming to America.
Sexual chocolate. They play so fine, don't you agree? I believe the children are our future.
Hakeem.
This is just oh man, what can we say about this? So it's basically I think it was the brainchild of Eddie Murphy, wasn't it? Where it was with his company. Didn't he have like a Murphy company?
He did have a production company. Yeah, right. Yeah.
And so basically, it's about this prince of Zamunda, and
this is fictional African country.
Yeah, he's had a marriage arranged for him, and he's gone against it. He doesn't want to sort of marry this one person who's a complete sort of slave for him. It's just like he drags her into a room off the side and says, "What was it? Do you like?" Trying to get to know her and all this kind of thing. And he's like, "Whatever you like." And he's just like, "No, I don't want just an obedient wife. I want someone who has thoughts of her own and stuff like that." So he asks his dad, the king, to if he can go to America and find someone. But his dad takes it the wrong way, thinks that he wants to sort of like throw himself about a bit, have some fun, and then come back. But
yeah, because he finds out that Hakeem, the character Eddie Murphy plays, he assumes that he's a bit worldly and that he's been with a woman before, but he hasn't. He's been very true. And
I always assumed you had sex with your bathers.
I do.
It's like,
great cameo from James L. Jones there as the king.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he goes to America. He goes to Queens.
He chooses Queens because he thought that's the land of.
He doesn't realise that it's a total shit pit. You know,
It's a great. I mean, their idea to go, oh, queens. This is where we'll find your queen. Yeah, great. And they go, and of course, what a contrast. They go from all this beautiful, glamour and where everyone walks and throw petals in front of them all the time, and grandiose, pomposity, and then they arrive in New York and it's cold and it's snowing, and the queens, they pick a really rough end of the of town, and it's
almost like it's an apocalyptic
version.
environment in comparison.
It's very heightened, but it's also for comedic purposes it works.
Great cast of characters that he meets there, most of which are played by Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall. It's funny,
male and female.
I mean, it's the original sort of comedy. And this was when Eddie Murphy was on at his peak, really.
This is peak Murphy. Yeah. It's because the year before he did Golden Child, and that's probably like his first flop. And this kind of re-cemented his king of the box office thing. And plus, it's John Landis directing again, who directed Murphy in Trading Places.
Right. Yeah.
And there's a wonderful Trading Places reference within the film that, when Akeem is found the girl that he likes, and he's taken her out, and being a gentleman, taken her out for dinner, he's got a paper bag full of hundreds of thousands of dollars that he's taken off his psychic, because obviously he's like, look, we're going to earn our money properly, we're not going to dip into the bank account and do it. So he just hands it to a tramp who turns out to be one of the Duke brothers, Don Amici, in fact, Mortimer Duke. He's living rough with his brother Randolph, and he says, "Look, Randolph." He says, "Like, I'm still not talking to you." And then of course they open the money, of course they count the money, and then he goes, we're back," and they proceed to bang on the window and thank Akeem for all the money. Thank you very much. So it's a nice little rounding off of Trading Places for that story. That they've kind of suffered enough, and he's given them a chance to start again. I always like that.
Yeah, I don't feel they've learned their lesson.
No, definitely not.
It would have been interesting to see Trading Places Part 2. But, see how that
I just like that moment. It's just nice. It takes place in that universe, and the fact that they don't recognise Akeem as Billy Ray Valentine,
Yeah, there is that.
It's that.
Billy Ray.
But no, I think it's a classic. It's got all the some great gags, great characters, like you say, most of which they play themselves.
Yeah.
The scene where they go dating, and
it's a classic scene. All these just crazy women
they find, and of course they're very taken aback because they're not used to these forward talking ladies who say what they want or acting a bit crazy, and they're a bit taken aback, to say the least.
Well, I was Joan of Arc in my former life.
We just sit there with a flame under her hand from a lighter. Yeah. And
the last one played, who Arsenio Hall plays as a transvestite, is fucking just absolutely hilarious.
Great spit take.
Yeah. I mean, it's a sort of it's a romance story, of course, but it was so genuinely funny, and it's a classic, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it's great. Like I say, it really cemented by how good he actually was, because the character is great as well. Akeem, because he's so positive and upbeat.
Yeah, he's always smiling.
He's always smiling, and it's such a, because you never really had a character like that before, particularly played by him. Usually he's a bit of a wise-cracking, street tough kind of guy, but this is his first kind of, he's been brought up very rich and proper, and he's actually a genuinely nice guy, and we'll see all the other characters come out in the hairdresser that he plays, and the barber, and the little Jewish man reading the newspaper, There's a great cameo as well from Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
He tries to rub the
very young
fast food
Samuel L. Jackson
restaurant, the fast food restaurant that obviously isn't McDonald's, called McDowell's.
I like that. There's one scene where he's actually got a McDonald's manual.
How to run
his office.
McDonald's. And he's actually applying it and stealing all their ideas.
But I think my favourite character that Eddie Murphy did was the Randy Watson.
Sexual chocolate.
My friend Reverend Brown. It's just like no one claps. It's just like this
slow clap.
That boy good. The you must be crazy. That boy good. Yeah, no, it's full of these little sort of meme jokes that you can.
Did you ever see the sequel to this coming to America?
No, thank God. I've heard so many bad things.
You didn't want to give it a chance?
No. I'm like, one of my other friends recommended that it would spoil my love for the first one, so I didn't. Have you seen it?
Not yet. I've got Paramount Plus. I haven't watched it yet. So
okay.
I might give it a look. I'll watch it for you, so you won't have to suffer.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. Well, have you seen it? No. No?
Nope.
No, yeah. That's just, I didn't. It's just like a sequel all these years later. I just don't. You know, the magic's gone. It's not the 80s anymore, and you know. Anyway, but yeah, Coming to America, really, really awesome. Go and see it if you haven't. But I'm pretty sure that everyone's seen it. Even tribes in the Amazonian jungle have probably seen it by now. Moving swiftly onwards to Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
First kind of film, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an amazing film. This is an amazing film. The combination of classic animation, hand-drawn animation obviously before computer, CGI and whatnot.
Done the old-fashioned.
And obviously done with live action as well. And this was Robert Zemeckis.
Yeah,
who
great.
just come off from doing Back to the Future a few years beforehand.
Yeah.
And
I mean, this has obviously been done before, where they've mixed cartoon with live action. You had Mickey Mouse with
Gene Kelly.
Gene Kelly, thank you.
Mary Poppins.
Yeah. But this, I think, is the one that people will remember the most, obviously. And Bob Hoskins' performance is just...
Oh, he's brilliant.
Just absolutely tip-top. You know, he just believed he saw the character of Roger. The fact that it has all these old classical cartoon characters like Betty Boop and
because it's not just Disney characters and Warner Brothers. He literally covers everything, doesn't he? You've got Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and as you say, Betty Boop.
Yeah, it's sad. It was sad because like Betty Boop, obviously, is not famous anymore, but she still thinks
she's stuck
she
in
has
black
it.
and white as well.
Yeah,
and they got the original lady who does the voice.
Oh, really?
She was like in her 80s then to do the boop boop be doop boop.
I still got it right.
Still got it. Yeah, you still got it, Betty.
She's trying to hitch up her little dress and shit.
Yeah, she's got little stocking suspenders.
Yeah, it's just like no, don't worry about it.
But what's great is that her little cameo contrasts brilliantly by Jessica Rabbit, who in Hoskins' mind thinks, he goes, he's got a thing for rabbits, thinking she's just a female version of Roger Rabbit. And of course the curtain, the lights go down, and everyone's pulling their chairs up right to the stage.
Especially Stubby K.
Yeah,
Marvin Acme.
Marvin Acme, yeah, he's literally salivating with what's about to come through the curtain, and this rather overtly sexual character, a bit like Veronica Lake. She has a sort of this red hair covering her half her face all the time, and every inch the perfectly drawn. Female character.
I'm not bad. I was just drawn that way.
Yeah. And voiced very sexually by Kathleen Turner from.
Yeah, she was a credit, wasn't
she?
Yeah, she was. No, she might not have been. Oh, she might have been.
I don't think she was credited for this role.
Check the credits.
Yeah.
But she didn't do this. The singing part was done, I think, by Steven Spielberg's wife, Amy Irving. I think she did the singing, and Kathleen Turner did the voice.
Voice, yeah.
Yeah. The very sort of film noirish, the
femme fatale.
Femme fatale type of. Thank you. Yeah.
But Roger Rabbit was a great character though.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, because he's bonkers and
off the wall,
but
no
always
pain.
Yeah, but his key mission in life is to make people laugh. That's his one thing.
That's it.
When he's hiding out in the bar later in the film, he's trying to make, because he says, they all look so sad. He says, why are you're supposed to be keeping a low profile, but they all look so sad. I wanted to cheer them up, and it's he's quite endearing, really.
Christopher Lloyd comes in, and they have to hide, and he's like, shave and a haircut.
Yeah,
and he can't resist.
Yeah,
the old shave and a haircut trick.
2 bits. Yeah,
that was odd watching
Christopher Lloyd, because we're so used to him at this point as Doc Brown,
the lovable,
and he's
off the wall,
and he's Doc Brown, a complete arsehole in this one.
Well, he's very brilliant. So, as proved very early on, because Alan and I we saw this as youngsters in the cinema. It was a friend's birthday, and we went to see it at the cinema, and it was packed at the cinema. And very early in the film, he shows how evil Judge Doom is, that Christopher Lloyd plays, by inventing this stuff called dip, and it's the only way you can kill a cartoon character. And he slowly kills this shoe.
This lovable little shoe that's just sort of nuzzling his heel.
And his heel, and he just puts on these gloves to these hard kid gloves, Mr. Valiant.
I shall try him, convict him, and execute him.
The sound of the rubber.
Yeah, the sound, yeah.
Yeah, great sound effects.
They cut that on TV all the time, don't they?
Yeah, this is the thing. They cut
network television.
A murder or a disintegration of a bit of paint.
Yeah.
And they cut it, but it shows how powerful the director, Zemeckis. He's great, very innovative director. This Robert Zemeckis. I mean, he went on to do obviously Back to the Future. He did Back to the Future 2 and 3 after this. In fact, there's a Roger Rabbit reference in Back to the Future 2. In fact, when he's in the future, when he goes to the store and he buys the almanac, there's a Roger Rabbit, toy in the window.
Plush figure.
But of course, it wouldn't. Martin McFly from 1985 wouldn't know who Roger Rabbit was because it's a few years off yet. So it's nice.
That's clever. Yeah.
Nice little.
I couldn't wait to get this film on VHS.
Yeah.
There was a little video shop down the road from where I used to live, and I used to go there, pester the guy who used to run it.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where he looked at me and he goes, "It's not out yet."
Picture a little 9-year-old and said, "Where is it?"
Yeah. And I kept looking in. He had like the little pamphlets in the front of the store, like coming soon and all that.
Yeah, I still love that.
And the day that I just flipped it right on the back page, Roger Rabbit out this day. I was like, straight home,
Counting down the.
Look at this! Look what's coming out! It's coming out! Can we get it?
Take me to the shop now, please.
That was a good day.
Yeah, it was a good day. I remember you had it like super early.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
It was an official release.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was official release.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we didn't get many of the dodgy pirate ones.
No. I said you got a pirate, but you might like an ex rental or something.
Yeah, no, we got the official one.
Fair play.
Was this film ever remastered?
Because it has because you got 4K.
I've got a 4K print of it. Yeah, on disc.
Because it does highlight the fact that you can blatantly see. I mean, like from these screenshots, you can see like the cartoon layer over the film and stuff. But I think that just adds to the charm.
I mean, what's great about it is that from the making of it, I remember they were working with obviously nothing in front of them, but like scenes where Roger's supposed to be hiding down Bob Hoskins' raincoat, and
there were lots of little gadgets, machinery,
to make it look like he was there, and his ears would pop out, or they'd hold up a picture of where the rabbit would be, so he could use it for eye line and stuff. But
he was in a car. They had a proper car, didn't they? But
it was a car with no shell on it, I think, and then they paint over it.
Drew over it.
But yeah, no, very, very innovative for this year.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, Benny the cab and the cab. Stick your thumb out.
The gun with the bullets.
Oh yeah,
I fucking love those boys.
But the bullets have just been sitting there just for
you and Sam for sure.
They're all old and grey.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You got one Mexican one in a sombrero.
It's so inventive.
Or a Native American with a tomahawk.
Yeah.
It's like,
Sound the gun.
Yeah. It's
just absolutely brilliant.
And he shoots them, and then they go the wrong way, don't they?
That's
it went this way. Dumb.
Which way he goes?
It was but a big shout out back to Bob Hoskins, because he contains my favourite moment in the film is a scene without words, where he's going through the old photos and he finds like some happy memories of a holiday he had,
his brother.
And then he finds pictures of his brother, and his face instantly changes from joy to sadness, and it's such a
very good scene.
Yeah,
and that's why he's such a great actor, because he didn't have to say anything. He did the same thing at the end of Long Good Friday, where you just read his whole emotion without saying anything, and it's empowered with the music and the reactions. He's much missed, Bob. I think he was a lot better actor than he's given credit for.
The bit where Roger tries to sit in his brother's seat on the opposite side of the don't you sit
his little tail sort of like shaking. Yeah, bless it. No, it's great. Little moments like that and it's to say for a kids' film, there's a lot of grown-up moments like that.
Yeah,
which is great, because obviously it didn't do us any harm as kids.
Oh yeah, great film for kids to watch even today. It's so.
Yes, even the finale is
Oh yeah, very scary. Yeah,
can be very scary
because with Judge Doom's demise, we're being flattened by a steamroller and then coming alive.
Oh yeah.
High-pitched voice and squeal and
daggers
for eyes and
remember me, Eddie, when I killed your brother.
It's quite frightening actually.
Yeah, it was. Now thinking about it,
it was.
And then I should be getting a little shout out to Baby Herman, the cigar smoking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's got a voice like
Stogie. Hey,
hey, I'm Baby Herman. I'm a big star.
Slaps his bird's ass.
Yeah. He's the definition of the Me Too.
It's true. Actually, now I'm
Me
thinking
Too
about
enemy.
it. Yeah, sticking fingers up girls' skirts and things. You know, it's
he'd be cancelled today.
Yeah, he would be. Yeah. Bye, baby.
So Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Very
without
very
the question mark as well. You notice the title has Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's not posed as a question, which I always found was a bit odd. Yeah. Can't stop thinking about it now.
It's just really good. I mean, it's just a marvel of like technical achievement more than anything else. I mean, the amount of time it must have taken to draw all the fucking like cartoons and like.
Yeah, but that's how they did it in the old days. I'm sure they had a.
Yeah, but the whole scene at the beginning, or near the beginning, with the bar, because he had like a whole ton of
the Ink and Paint Club.
Yeah.
Plus that little brief visit to Toontown itself towards the end.
Oh, it's entirely.
Yeah, that whole sequence as well.
That was an all green screen.
Yeah.
All right, well done, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Very, very awesome. We're now going to move on to the latest exciting edition of Alan's Horror Corner. So we're going to fire off that classic jingle. Alan's Horror Corner.
And unlock the dungeon door.
Oh, yes.
We're now in the dungeon.
Great to hear that again. God, where do I start?
It's fucking cold down here.
I've got to say that throughout the whole decade, and then I've looked at this list, this for me is the best list.
Okay.
This contains actually a lot of my favourite horror films from the whole decade.
So it's like everything that you've done up until now.
Yeah.
This for
me, I've got memories of a lot of these. I mean, everyone's back from the grave in this one. Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers.
All your faves.
All the faves are back this year. So I'm going to steam through as quick as I can. I'm going to go straight for Friday the 13th Part 7, which was basically Jason versus a telekinetic girl, because they couldn't agree terms with Freddy Krueger to do a crossover movie.
You showed me a bit of this recently.
Yeah, this is great. The design for Jason's great. He's been basically bottom of the lake for like...
Yeah, he's been fermenting.
He's been fermenting for some time, and he's played for the first time by Kane Hodder, who had gone to play Jason at least 3 more times.
He's a big fella, isn't he?
Yeah, he's I'd love to tell a story about what happened on offset one, but set it for another time.
Okay.
But this is probably the most violent of the film so far.
Yeah.
The deaths in this one are just nasty, so nasty. The end's a bit stupid, but.
And you would have been 9 or something when you
when I saw Friday, I think parts. I was probably about 10 by the time I came on VHS.
Yeah. Okay.
So I couldn't rush off to the cinema to see this.
Already a connoisseur of horror.
But you are.
Yeah.
That's what's great.
Yeah.
Going to move on to Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master. Again, this is my favourite one. This is Rennie Harlin directing this one. Robert Englund gets top billing for the first time in the franchise.
Awesome.
The money is on the screen. The kills, as they call them in the industry, are amazing.
Yeah, I think this is the first one I saw.
Yeah.
On VHS.
It's a good one.
It was good.
It's a great one.
I thought, they're all like this.
Because I think from the previous film, Freddy had all these like James Bond had. He had like a little line after he kills someone.
Yeah.
Freddy would adopt that in Part 3. He would carry on this in Part 4.
Right.
I think one of the fans' favourite lines from this series is actually from this movie, when he looks at one girl and says, how sweet. Fresh meat.
Pervert.
Yeah, but Freddy is obviously he's been killed off in the 3rd film. His bones have been buried in sacred ground, which is basically just a junkyard with a bit of holy water. Some kids brought into a dream in this junkyard a dog this kid owns. Basically takes a pee on where Freddy is, pees fire. This dog is called Jason. So Jason resurrects Freddy.
Yeah.
If you like, you can see it that way. No coincidence.
Yeah.
And then we go through the motions again, where Freddy comes back up and
he hasn't lost his sense of humour.
He lost his sense of humour in this film. Yeah. Like sucking a girl, pretty much everything out of her. Wanna Suck Face. That's a great one. She's asthmatic.
I do remember he was like this kind of pizza burn, pizza face look.
And I think there's even a pizza.
He's jolly throughout.
There's a pizza joke actually in the film.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, one of the kids is called Rick. He's already killed him, and he's basically, this girl's got a dream about being stuck in some diner until she's like pension age. And and Freddy's like, this is her brother who's he's actually a meatball in the pizza. He goes, Rick, you little meatball.
But innovative, the makeup.
Innovative, yeah. But I loved it. I mean, I had a great VHS of this.
Yeah.
Had trailers in it for films, which for next year.
I see old trailers.
Yeah, me too. We'll move on to Halloween 4.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably one of the best sequels of the whole series.
So we're back to Michael.
We're back to Michael since part 3 didn't do so well because they were almost thinking, where's Michael gone?
Yeah.
This one is set 10 years after the event, so 1988. Yeah. Michael is in a coma, having been pretty much incinerated in the second film. I don't know how he's pretty much there.
Must be something in his mask or suit that preserves him.
Hey, he was engulfed in flames. He was. I mean,
that boy was dead.
Exactly. I think he should look like Rotelli out of Batman.
Yeah, he should. Yeah.
By this point,
roasted.
Yeah, roasted. But he's in a coma. Yeah. He's been shipped off to another medical facility. I don't know why. Donald Pleasence is in hot pursuit.
Yeah, he's back.
He's back in this one with little minor burns also.
Yeah. And a little burn on his face.
He's got a little burn on his face. There's no Jamie Lee Curtis in this film, and Michael is basically after his niece. Okay. Jamie is her name, and Michael is played by the late great stuntman George P. Wilbur, who passed away, I think early this year.
Oh, did he?
And he was a towering force, George P. Wilbur. I think he played Michael once more, but that was in 1995's very bad Curse of Michael Myers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember you saying.
Right, we bring some new guys into this now.
Yeah.
This is the first time we see Chucky on screen. A Child's Play.
Oh, shocking.
Yeah. So this my wife Cheryl, she loves this film. She hates it at the same time. She finds the character creepy as hell, but she'll happily watch one.
Yeah.
She'll happily watch a Child's Play film, but she'll be scared of him.
Chucky's voice is by
Brad Dourif.
Yeah, great actor.
Yeah. Billy Bibbit from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. And
there's a lot of controversy with this film, isn't there? Because there was the story of James Bulger.
That was cited from that when the third film came out. I don't know what the correlation is.
Yeah. Well, they had watched
Child's Play.
Yeah, they watched the film, and then they had pretty much gone out and found a kid. And
that's it. And that was a terrible crime. Yeah. And I should say,
but I've watched. There's officially no link between the film and the thing, but I think it's more the case that these kids murderers were watching.
They were allowed to watch this.
They weren't allowed to. Watch, even though technically you were.
Yeah, I was a kid, but I didn't.
You knew it was a pretend.
Yeah, I knew it was a film. I had no aspirations of going out trying to, butcher someone because I've seen it done on screen. That's not how films work. They're there to entertain you and scare you and bring all your emotions to force. They're not meant to inspire you to go and do something that's criminal.
But it's quite rare though to have this type of slasher horror film. But a killer doll.
Yeah,
it's dolls by and large are.
Yeah, it starts with Brad Dourif, who plays Charles Lee Ray, who's a serial killer.
So he's actually in the film.
He's actually in the film.
He's right at the beginning.
Yeah, he's right at the film at the beginning, and he's basically we're in mid pursuit. He's getting chased by a cop.
Right.
For whatever he's done at this point.
Breaks into a toy factory.
Breaks into a shop. He's been shot. He's wounded, so he goes into the first place he knows. He knows a bit of black magic, or a bit of voodoo, if you like, and grabs the first thing he can pass his soul into, and is this doll.
All right.
Which somehow finds its way into the hands of a homeless person who sells this doll to a woman, who then gives this doll to her child as a present.
Right.
Yeah, I'll buy this creepy doll off you.
It's
cost you much.
It's creepy as hell. It's really creepy because the kids start saying things like and the mum's like, "Where'd you hear that?" And she goes, "Oh, Chucky told me."
Yeah. And who's going to believe?
The kid has the mum has a friend come around to look after the kid while she goes out. Obviously, she's got work late or something. Or she's on a date. I'm trying to remember. But anyway.
But did he inspire?
Chucky kills the woman. Throws her, hits her head with a hammer, and she subsequently falls out of this third floor flat or something to the ground and dies. And so the kid would come up to the mum later in the film and say, "Oh, Aunt such and such was a real bitch and got what she deserved." Just like, yeah. But as the film progresses, the mum thinking this is kind of weird. She checks the batteries in because she's going for the box and the batteries fall out. She's thinking, hang on, but he's been talking. Yeah. So she grabs the doll. She looks in the back, which batteries are. They're not there. That's when she suspects that this is possessed doll.
Was this the first sort of possessed doll type movie? Horror film?
I think Puppet Master had come out before this.
Right.
Puppet Master had come out before, but this is the first one that.
Probably more memorable than
Puppet Master. I mean, Puppet Master got 5, 6 sequels or something, maybe 5.
How many sequels did this get?
This one's got 1, 2, 3, Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, Cult of Chucky, Curse of Chucky. So yeah, you're probably looking at a good and 3 seasons of a TV series.
And a TV show,
which is actually not that bad.
Quite a lot then.
Yeah.
But did they get more comedic though as they go on?
Yeah, they got more ridiculous. The first 3 films kind of set, are in kind of like one tone. Bride of Chucky goes a bit more outrageous. Seed of Chucky's just stupid. Right. They kind of go back to the roots with Curse of and Cult of, which leads into the TV show. But yeah, this is a fun memory film for me. Yeah. So we're going to move on to quickly. I'll have to do this really quickly. Right. This is a Ron Seal film.
Ron Seal.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I like the title.
Exactly, it's a Ron Seal film.
Brilliant.
It does exactly what it says on the tin. They're killer clowns. They're from outer space.
I was going to ask, but just answered.
This didn't do too well. In the cinema, it gained.
It's more of a cult film.
It's a cult film. It gained a lot of status. I mean, do check it out. It's got the great John Vernon in it.
I love John Vernon.
He plays it, so deadpan the whole time. Killer clowns from outer space.
Oh, what voice? Voice like butter. That guy.
That's right. He's
he's always in Clint Eastwood films. Yeah, he's great.
It's a silly film, but it's great. Also, Pumpkinhead. Yeah. This is Lance Henriksen, who and it's directed by the great Stan Winston. God rest you.
Who's great.
Lance Henriksen has a son who's killed in a hit and run.
Lance Henriksen from Bishop is Aliens.
That's right. Yep. He takes his son to this. He knows of a woman who lives in the woods. She's a witch. Right. And she says, "I can resurrect your son, but it's going to be at a great cost. Right. Do you want to go ahead with it?" So he said, "Okay, sure." Yeah. Doing so resurrects, I suppose. Well, summons, very best. Summons this creature called Pumpkinhead, who basically exacts revenge for Lance Henriksen.
And it's a great Pumpkinhead?
No, he's a weird-looking creature.
Okay.
But it's created by Stan Winston Studio.
So yeah, practical effects.
Practical effects the whole way, and
I'm sure it's very good.
The ending is
dark.
Interesting.
Give you nightmares?
No, not really. No, not really. It's I thought, okay, there obviously have to be a way to stop this creature, and it's the only way to do it. So yeah. So also we have Maniac Cop. This was another great, another actor, Robert Zadar, passed away some years ago. This is Maniac Cop. This is about a cop called Matt Cordell, who's a very honoured, decorated police officer who's put away a lot of criminals and all that. Yeah. Something's happened. He's been framed. Pretty much the judges don't want to hear anything of it. Stick him in prison. He's seemingly killed by the people he's convicted.
Right.
He's then now walking the streets, exacting his justice.
And does he have a very distinct look about him?
Rob Zadar had a very distinct. I think he had a bit of a disorder. Yeah, we've seen him a very familiar-looking
square jaw.
Yeah,
very tough looking, intimidating. And Robert Darby in this?
Robert Darby didn't come into the second film.
Sorry.
This has got Bruce Campbell.
Oh yeah.
And
I love Bruce.
I can't remember the actor's name. Tom Atkins.
Oh yeah.
Who would be in Halloween 3 from '82.
Right.
Awesome. Yeah, this is a good film. This spawned 2 sequels.
Yes,
not so bad.
That's the one I've seen. The one with
Robert Darby's in 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Also this year we had Hellraiser 2, Hellbound, from Clive Barker. This brings back the Pinhead and the Cenobites.
Pinhead, your old fave, Pete.
Yeah. not filmed in Dollis Hill this time.
No.
We got Kenneth Cranham in this one, playing the sinister Dr. Channard, who's obsessed with neurology. Well, he's a neurologist, but he's obsessed with this puzzle box, and he basically takes patients from his hospital to try and solve this box. Right. And he's basically bought things from the house because he's obviously heard the stories. He's got newspaper clippings of what's happened at this house. Yeah. And he's got the this mattress, bloodstained mattress, where the character Julia died in the previous film. Right. And he's got people sitting on this mattress trying to solve this puzzle box. Yeah. Of course, doing so brings Julia back. Yeah. And then she says, well, I've been to a place that you can only dream of, and he's obviously obsessed and thinks, okay, let's go. I think the actress from the previous one was also in this, obviously trying to be his the thorn in his side. Yeah. Ultimately, Channard becomes a Cenobite himself after having been betrayed by Julia. But for some reason, he seems to off all the Cenobites. To this day, I've never understood how he's so powerful.
And again, there's lots of sequels to these.
Yeah, too many. Yeah, I've seen this one.
More than Chucky.
Yeah, it gets silly. You got Hellraiser 3, you got Hellraiser 4 Bloodline, and you got Hellseeker. I can't remember them all, but
it gets more and more ridiculous.
It gets more ridiculous, yeah.
Pinhead comes back, even though he died at the end of this one, right?
Yeah, Pinhead's pretty much turned back to his human form again.
Right.
Yeah.
So no pins then?
Yeah, briefly.
No acupuncture.
No acupuncture.
He's not so stressed.
Yeah. But yeah, it's an interesting film.
Okay.
So again, Clive Barker's imagination is for the macabre is there.
He's not afraid to go there.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
Then we have They Live, John Carpenter.
Oh wow, yeah.
This is interesting because this was made in '88.
Yeah.
As we're covering. The themes of this film are very, very, very futuristic. Yeah. You know, you have to procreate, consume. All these things you're told to do this because this stars Rowdy Roddy Piper, the old WWF wrestler at the time.
Yeah, which must be quite controversial, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's walked into this town. I think he's just called Drifter. He doesn't actually have a name in this.
Right.
And Keith David is also in this.
He's great.
And they Roddy Piper comes across an interesting group of people who are very. Play the cards close to the chest, as we say.
Yeah.
And they're all wearing these sunglasses, and he's kind of like, why? I mean, they're good people. They do things for the homeless, the community, and whatnot. Yeah. But they wear these sunglasses, and it seems like they're fighting a force that no one can see. And they're like, okay, what's this about? It's only when there's a big raid, and Roddy Piper makes a getaway, takes a pair of sunglasses with him. Yeah. And then at that point, putting the sunglasses on, everything's black and white.
That's right.
Everything's black and white. All the billboards are like for cigarettes, to advertise cigarettes and whatnot, whatnot. It's just basically a whiteboard with black writing that would just say consume.
Yeah, that's right.
Procreate.
He's basically seen the world as it really is.
As it really is,
and also how the people look.
Yes,
under their skin.
Because we've apparently been invaded by aliens.
Yeah. And
they're in powerful places.
Yeah.
So Roddy Piper goes now on a quest to see what he can do to wake the world up, if you like. That's and he obviously does at the end, and it's an interesting little montage.
There's a great line, is it, from him, that he says, I'm here to...
I'll kick ass and chew bubblegum. I'm all out of bubblegum.
For fuck's sake.
It's good. But this is John Carpenter.
This is John Carpenter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I watched it about a year ago, and I thought, my God, wow, this is today.
And it's also got, it's very... predicted a lot of...
it has, I recommend, please go and watch this because, put yourself in a 1988 mind frame, but also keep in mind what's happening today.
It also has quite big, like a 10-minute long fist fight. This is actually quite...
Yeah, between Keith David and, they're trying, it's funny to say, put the sunglasses on, and Keith David's flat out refusing. I'm not wearing them.
It's one of the longest fist fight I've ever seen, but it's actually quite good. And it just escalates. You're thinking, how much more can they take?
Yeah,
it just keeps going.
Doing wrestling moves in an alleyway.
Yeah.
And I think it's been parodied in the South Park episode. Yeah. Between Timmy and Jimmy.
Yeah.
Put the head on, Jimmy. No.
Yeah.
Jimmy.
That was a great film. It's a good choice.
It's a great film. Yeah. And I'm going to close on Beetlejuice.
Oh yeah.
From Tim Burton with Gina Davis,
Winona Ryder,
Alec Baldwin, Alec Baldwin,
and
Michael Keaton, who will talk about who goes on to bigger things in the years time.
He's about to go.
But this is typical Tim Burton. This brings his macabre, completely different from Clive Barker's macabre.
Yeah.
It's very comic book in a way, but this has Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin as a nice couple who got a nice life together, and they just happen to have a bit of an accident leaving the house one day, and
they're killed.
Yeah. They walk back into the house thinking, all dripping wet.
Yeah. Thinking they're still alive.
Exactly. And then until they see for sale signs going off and people turning up, they're thinking, what's going on here?
And it's Jeffrey Jones.
And
Catherine O'Hara.
Catherine O'Hara. And Winona Ryder.
Yeah, as their daughter, yeah.
Yeah, I also love the actor who plays Otto.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah.
With his spray can.
Yeah, his spray can. Yeah, with spraying stuff. Yeah, the old RTTS.
They got some like weird creatures as well, innit? Like the guy with the shrunken head and
puppets and things.
You do that? I like your work.
Yeah.
Oh, look, there's Elvis.
Yeah. So Beetlejuice is to do with the afterlife.
He's to do with the afterlife, yeah. He's what's called a bio-exorcist.
Right.
He exorcises the living instead of
to get them
demonic
out.
spirits. So he will scare the bejesus out of them to get them out of the house, and so that you can have your property back and all that.
Yeah.
And so to summon him, saying his name 3 times, and to get rid of him, doing the same thing again. Yeah. I'm not going to do it.
No. I remember us doing it at school once. It didn't work, unfortunately.
Nothing happened.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah, but it was. I remember it's been quite. It's got a great lively Danny Elfman soundtrack, and also great songs from old Harry Belafonte.
That's it. Yeah.
Jake's an order. Jake it all the time.
My mum's favourite song.
Oh yeah, your mum's favourite song.
My mum used to love that song. Yeah. She used to dance to it and she used to watch it on TV.
And
that's a great sequence at dinner. Yeah,
that's brilliant. It's a brilliant sequence.
There's a great mesh of comedy and horror and wackiness, I suppose. It's Tim Burton, really. That's what gave him the Batman gig, really, the success of this film.
He did, yeah. I know the studio was. I don't know if we should really talk about this right now.
No,
the Batman thing, but
no, we'll get to that.
But yeah, he wasn't really well liked by the studio because, in terms of for the role, should we say, for the Batman gig. Because he's kind of a comedy actor playing the.
Yeah. But he's good, Michael Keaton.
But he's very good.
He's wanted to prove himself as a terrific actor anyway.
So. Oh, absolutely.
He's a fantastic actor, Michael Keaton.
In fact, currently, I say currently, they were up until the actors' strike filming sequels to this.
That's right, yeah.
Tim Burton's back.
A long-awaited sequel. They've been trying to get stuff to
film it in London, but I think the actors' strike, they've had to stop filming. But they were filming it over here to do a Beetlejuice sequel. So yeah, hopefully they'll get back if they do get the strike over and done with, then they can resume filming. Be interesting to see how the sequel holds up.
Yeah,
I'm always concerned when they do a film and then you wait 20, 30 years to do a sequel. You lose the
magic.
Yeah, the magic. Yeah. It's just not quite there.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not a very good analogy.
Well, it screams of run out of ideas, so let's sort of do a sequel to something.
The only thing I give in this film's favour is that, unlike Batman, they've done sequels to that and they've reinvented it and all that. There hasn't been a reinvention of Beetlejuice. Like, no other film has sort of been like Beetlejuice. I can't think of another film like it. So I think a sequel would be good or original in the fact that there's only been one of its kind.
Yeah.
So there's loads of room to go with it.
Yeah, I suppose.
It hasn't been done to death by other people. It's a one-off. And there's very few films like that you can say it's a one-off and they do a sequel to it.
No, that's true. Although some films don't need sequels. I mean, look at.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying it needs it, but I'll be open to see it. I mean, never know. It might pull something like the Blade Runner sequel. You think he doesn't need a sequel, and yet it added and enhanced in some ways.
Expands the lore a little.
Yeah, and I like to think this might be. Plus, it's Burton as well. And I still got some hope.
Yeah, I like Burton.
Combined with Keaton again, and Winona Ryder's back. So we'll see.
We've got Ginny Davis and Alec Baldwin back.
I'm not sure. I haven't read too much of it because I don't want to be spoiling.
It would be a bit odd, really, if they're dead, but how they aged.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe they're there in animated form somehow. I don't know. Yeah.
Right, well, that's Alan's Horror Corner. Let's crawl our way back up to the first floor again. It's fucking cold down there.
Sorry. I'll put the heating on next time.
Yeah.
I'll wear my slippers.
And we'll move. Get my wrist. We'll move on to some mentions now, some honourable mentions.
Yes.
Crocodile Dundee 2.
Oh yeah. I think between Alan and myself, this is a big, because the first Crocodile Dundee was a big hit, and on video it was a big hit. And I think they made the sequel more family friendly. The first one was a 15, and this was a PG.
Although this one's a bit more hard.
You know it because
Colombian drug dealers and whatnot.
It's to do with Colombian drug dealers, and very loosely the plot, they kidnap the Crocodile Dundee's girlfriend, who's this journalist, Sue Charlton, you know, because her ex-husband's been taking pictures of these Colombians, and that's why they want her, you know, to get the pictures back.
Luis Rico,
yeah, this flamboyantly, slightly over-the-top Colombian villain played by Hector Ubarri, and his cousin henchman with the kind of, you know, greaseback long mullet.
Well, we'll see again to arachnophobia.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So basically, very, very, very sort of larger than life villains, but it's a larger than life film. It's not the kind of groundedness of the first one's gone, and it's a little bit more exaggerated. But you got Paul Hogan back as Dundee, and he's been living in America for a couple of years, so he's a little bit more, well, you know, savvy with the world, you know. But yeah, it's and you put it out in the car on the way here that Sue
Charlton, she's got she's saying in the first film there's a guy snorting cocaine, no problem.
She's completely fine with that.
Exactly. As soon as she's
laughing about it.
Yeah. And as soon as she's kidnapped by a Colombian drug dealer, you grubby little parasite, I think is what she calls him.
Yeah, you're a drug dealer. How dare you? Yeah. I mean,
Double standards.
Completely. Well, and her character is a journalist, so it's it's no surprise really.
Yeah.
Is it really?
It's a fun film though.
Yeah, it's a fun film. Yeah, it reverses the film. It starts in America and goes back to Australia and
draws the drug cartel into their out of their comfort zone.
Out of their comfort zone and into his domain, and he's able to pick them off one by one and save the day.
Yeah.
So we discover that he owns the whole land that he's put them in as well.
Yeah, he's got Belong to Mick. Yeah, he owns it. He says, it's not that big. You can walk across it all in 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
So
I never liked the Crocodile Dundees, but I appreciate them for what they are. You know?
They were of the era, I think. You know, it was a big. And these are back in the days when they had the posters, they were hand drawn, you know, and they made them look, this kind of Tarzan, muscular Rambo-esque,
standing on the Big Apple.
Yeah,
Sue Charlton.
You know, with the big Bowie knife and the crocodile wrestling, you know, thing. No, it's good fun.
Yeah.
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Another great comedy, and that great Steve Martin,
Michael Caine,
and Michael Caine, who doesn't normally do comedy, but I think the reason this works so great, and he'd be the first one to admit, he plays it totally straight, which makes it funnier. And Steve Martin's this, wacky guy, and they're both vying for the same patch in the south of France to fleece rich women out of their millions.
Because they're con men, aren't they?
They're con men, and they agree to a gentleman's wager to fleece this woman out of them. The first one to get $50,000 from her gets to stay, and the other one has to leave town.
Yeah.
But
it's all done there. Is it the French Riviera, isn't it?
Yeah, all on the French Riviera in the south of France. Beautifully shot. Yeah. Directed by Frank Oz from the Muppets. He proves himself to be a great comedy director. But little great moments, like they probably wouldn't be able to do it in comedies now, where Steve Martin pretends to be disabled, and
he's like a war veteran, isn't he?
He pretends to be a war veteran to play sympathy to get this money out of this woman, and Michael Caine therefore pretends to be his psychiatrist. With this thick German accent to do it, and he starts gently tapping him with this whip on his legs. Can you feel this? No. How about this? Whoosh! It's like these like tears streaming down his face. Doctor, look, he's so happy, he's crying. And it's it's a type of comedy I don't know if you get away with. They have remade it extremely badly with Rebel Wilson and Sandra Bullock. I think they did a female version of it.
So...
but this film, in fact, is a remake of a previous film. It was originally called Bedtime Story with David Niven and Marlon Brando, weirdly enough. And he did the whole thing in the wheelchair and everything, but it was a big flop, you see. So what they did is, I think Michael Caine talks about it, he said, if you take a bad film, you can remake it and make it good, because you work out what didn't work and make it work.
Exactly.
And whereas you take a good film and try and remake it, you're not going to improve it much.
It's can't do it more these days, really.
Yeah.
Take note, Disney.
Yeah, well, yes, it's a whole other podcast.
The best scenes were really the ones with Ruprecht.
Ruprecht, that's classic Steve
The Monkey Boy.
Rupert the Monkey Boy,
That mother.
No, Ruprecht.
She's not her mother.
No, he's great. It's a great showcase for Martin, but it's also a great thing for Caine as well, because they balance off each other.
Yeah. Steve Martin was flying, wasn't he?
Oh, he was red hot. Like After Planes, Trains, and Roxanne, and
The Jerk.
I mean, going back before that, and The Man with Two Brains. And still ahead. He had like Parenthood and things, but we'll get to all that. What's wonderful is there's no sex, violence, or bad language. It's a wholesome film. You can watch it with your family.
Straight up comedy.
And that's very rare nowadays. There's nothing sort of risque in it. It's just generally funny. I can still watch it and still laugh out loud. You know, great music, classy.
Oh, I should also point, it's got Ian McDiarmid in it, the Emperor from Star Wars.
Oh God, yeah, the butler.
Yeah, the butler.
Yeah,
Arthur, isn't it? Yeah.
Welcome to hell.
Shut up. Yeah, well spotted. Yeah.
Okay, A Fish Called Wanda.
Oh yeah, now, while we're on the subject of comedies, this is another great comedy. One's a bit more hard to pigeonhole though, because it's
an Oscar winner as well.
It's very British.
It's extremely British. Yeah, I don't know if it would work in other sort of countries, but it's yes, it is an Oscar winner. Kevin Kline, brilliant Kevin Kline, wonderful, proper actor.
Otto.
Otto, yeah, the psychopathic, slightly stupid, but don't call him that, hitman.
Yeah, he loves the smell of his own armpits. That's his trademark.
Obsessively about a bank robbery, and they steal these diamonds from this bank vault. John Cleese, who wrote the film, also plays the lawyer for the head of the gang, and of course they hidden the diamonds and stashed it. And the key for the safe box is put into Michael Palin's fish tank in a little treasure box in the fish tank. So essentially that's the plot. So only John Cleese knows where it is. So Jamie Lee Curtis, who's also part of the gang, is sent to seduce Cleese in order to find out where the key is for the diamonds, and she can run off with Kevin Kline. But of course she's not. She's going to double cross him, you know. But then during the film, she generally kind of falls in love with Cleese, believe it or not. Yeah. But hilarity ensues, and there's so many sort of great little scenes with Cleese, and then Cleese's wife, who's played by a wonderful English actress who's been in a lot of his sort of films. And there's a scene where she comes home early, and Kevin Kline's there, and he pretends to be from the CIA and invents himself with the name of, "Hello, Mrs. Leach, my name's Harvey Manfredson from the CIA." And she goes, "Now look here, Mr. Manfredson," and says it like absolutely word perfectly. You know, my father was in MI6.
Yeah.
And it's just like little things like that obviously improvised. But
I think Michael Palin's character was great.
Yeah, I was about to say it's quite a controversial thing as well, because his character has an extremely bad stutter, Ken. Yeah. And he has Ken, come to kill me. He's constantly ridiculed cruelly by Otto, and of course he's tortured by Otto by tying him up, and then proceeds, because Ken is also an animal lover, and he's trying to murder a witness who's got lots of dogs, and then rather than killing her, he ends up the stray bullets keep hitting the dogs. So he's really, it's very John Cleese kind of humour.
Michael Palin is distraught.
Like he's got all these black armbands because he's just distraught by the fact he's killed all these animals, and so he has these fish, and he's distraught that Kevin Kline eats all of his fish in order to find out.
Doesn't he like shove chips?
He's got chips up his nose as well. Yeah,
there's such a crap torture scene,
and stuffs a pear in his mouth, so he's like slowly suffocating. But again, it's so uniquely John Cleese. It's a great film, and of course a great ending. You know, where Ken gets his revenge on Otto, and he's cured of his stutter. You know, my stutter, it's gone. And they all sort of fly off into the with the diamonds. It's a great film. Like I say, you can't really. I know we're taking our time to explain really who it is, but you can't really explain it.
You can't describe
kind of watch
it.
Yeah, it's not like Don't You Want Scoundrels where you can. This is it's just as funny, but a very darker comedy, and lots of profanity and
asshole.
Yeah, it's Kevin Kline's movie. I mean, there's some great performances, but it's mainly Kline.
It's got a very distinctive British twang to it.
Very much so. Yeah, that's Cleese to a.
You know, it's like I always like to say that you're watching a British film.
Yeah.
Because of the pacing and stuff, especially of the time.
And then because Cleese with 40 Towers, there's all those sort of awkward characters and moments where, like, he's trying to. The stutter's preventing him from telling him where the diamonds are, and Cleese is like, just take your time. It's quite right, It's in the. Take your time. It's perfectly fine. Got lots of time, because he hasn't got lots of time. The clock's ticking. Oh, come on! Sorry.
Yeah.
Just, that sort of thing. Yeah, I love it. It rewards on multiple watches.
Okay, Last Temptation of Christ.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, gone from comedy to
something really dire and
different.
serious.
But in a nutshell, this was probably mentioned on a previous podcast. It's Martin Scorsese's dream project to bring this very controversial book about Christ, and where Christ is given a chance, like the Last Temptation, where he's on the cross, to live his life again with a woman he loves and have children and a family. And
well, he's approached by a little girl who turns out to be the devil.
The devil, yeah.
It's all trying to coax him down off the cross and stuff.
And to film it in a way to make it accessible to an audience, and of course no studio wanted to touch it, so he made films like The Colour of Money and the Michael Jackson Bad video he did for the man. He got paid millions of dollars. So a lot of it went into making this film. In fact, to cast Jesus, you know, he wanted a really good actor. And De Niro said, "Look, I don't want to play it, but if you literally can't get anyone, I'll do it for you." You know, but unfortunately, he got a very young, brilliant Willem Dafoe to play Christ, and how brilliant he is. And Harvey Keitel was Judas, who's actually a good character in this story. It's very strange. And a wonderful cameo from David Bowie actually as Pontius Pilate.
Yeah,
really, really great.
Wasn't this the one that was partly funded by George Harrison, or have I got the movie wrong?
I don't think Harrison. That was the Life of Brian.
Yeah.
Thinking of, yeah. No, this is purely he had to put the money in himself, Scorsese. But he shot it all in, you know, in Morocco, I believe, and it's you know, feels authentic. All the Romans have great English accents, and the Jews are American, you know, like they are in the old biblical films. But a brilliant soundtrack from Peter Gabriel, I should say.
Yes, I was about to mention that.
Yeah, it's it doesn't get any better than that. But it's
top class.
It's an art film in a way.
Yeah.
But worth watching if you're a fan of the director.
Okay, moving on to Midnight Run.
Oh yeah, again, I should have put this with the comedies really, but the again, just it's Charles Grodin and De Niro playing. Again, he's funny because he's playing it straight, and it's about a bounty hunter taking a guy from New York to LA with the FBI on his tail and the mafia on his tail, and they're trying to get. It's a very silly, but funny film. I loved it. It's got again tremendous repeat value. There's lots of swearing and naughty things.
I don't think I've seen this one all the way through.
It's great. It's great. It holds up well. It's directed by Martin Brest, who made Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh, okay.
So so the action is good. The comedy is good. It's got that vibe, you know, from Beverly Hills Cop. It's got the, you know, it's a grown-up film. You know, you're a kid, you shouldn't be watching it, but it's got that, and it's funny. You know, it's got a guy. He's taking him back, and he just won't shut up. And Dinner's like, just stop talking. You know, just give him a break. You know, and he just drives him absolutely bonkers. But it's yeah, great cast, great soundtrack. Danny Elfman. And you wouldn't know it was Danny Elfman because it's Southern American twangs, guitars, and things. It's not like the Beetlejuice soundtrack.
Typical
Things. It's completely different sound, but just as good. It's got a great theme. Driving on, I recommend it.
And then we come to another hard-hitting movie, Mississippi Burning.
Yeah, I know we're doing these alphabetically. I should have put this with Last Temptation, really. But it's a hard-hitting film from Alan Parker, great British director, and Gene Hackman in blistering form with, again, Willem Dafoe playing a really good guy. He's based on a true story where these 3 civil rights workers were murdered in the South in 1964 in Mississippi, and 2 of them were Jewish and 1 was black. The FBI went to solve the crimes, and of course the whole town are in cahoots with the Ku Klux Klan, who were very powerful at the time, and of course no one's talking. And one of the corrupt policemen is played by Brad Dourif.
Oh, Chucky.
Yeah, Chucky. So he had a busy year. So so Willem Dafoe wants to do it by the book, and Hackman's more old school. And so by doing it by the book, they don't get very far. And of course, Gene resorts to being, Gene Hackman, and punches his way into getting the information he needs, and squeezing testicles and shaving Brad Dourif in the chair and accidentally cutting him. Whoops, and eventually they get their guys. But it is just a powerful thing just to see, because it's recent history of just how horrible the racism is in America at that time, and I'm sure probably still exists.
Well, it struck a chord, didn't it? It struck a very big chord.
Very much so. And I think it took an outsider, like an English director, to show their own country. What it's a history, and it's an ugly history because it's recent history. It still packs a punch, I think.
Naked Gun.
Well, we're really roller coastering with the funny and the dramatic.
Ups and downs.
Yeah, but this is again.
From the Files of Police Squad.
Which is a TV show.
It's so you got the TV show, and also they made their plane, which we did in our very first show, I think. What a great so, the ultimate spoof comedy. This rewards on multiple watches as well. It's Leslie Nielsen.
Proper visual comedy.
Yeah. It's brilliant. Yeah. Priscilla Presley.
The puns are.
The puns are there. The visual gags are there. Nice
beaver. Thank you, I just got his stuff.
It just gives you an idea of where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Ricardo Montalban as the Wrath of Khan. He's playing the villain.
Yeah.
And O.J. Simpson in a
O.J. Simpson,
role.
yeah, before the controversy.
He's literally he's just beaten up constantly in this film. He doesn't get a break. And eventually when he's recovered, he's sort of launched from his wheelchair and flung into the air and breaks all his bones again. But
Next is Rambo 3.
oh god.
This has got Omar in it from Jewel and I. Sparrow's Focus. I'm not sure he's the villain for this one.
He's not a villain, but he's in it. And
he's not driving the tank at the end. I'm trying to remember this one.
No,
I've not seen this one.
It's good. I mean, it's the worst of the original trilogy. It's not great. It's basically Rambo joins forces with the Taliban, who obviously they're now called the Taliban, but that's who eventually they become. Because Colonel Troutman's been kidnapped by the Russians, who were invaded Afghanistan, and he's basically a one-man army, and he doesn't bother wearing a shirt at all in this film. He just takes all the beatings.
I'm guessing this is where it came from for Hot Shots Part 2.
Yeah, it's the blue. If you've seen Hot Shots 2, you've seen this movie already.
There you go. Then.
It's that, but it plays it more straight, and but Richard Crenna's back.
His mullet is his armour, isn't it?
His mullet he's got. This is probably the most super mullet of all the mullets he's got in all the films. It's
permed one.
Slightly permed, and he gets shot in the film. In this one, the bullet goes right through him, and he seals up his bullet wound with just pours gunpowder into it and lights it, and he goes bang. But he's able to seal his own internal bleeding.
Must try that one day.
Yes, if you, not recommended, but he does it in such record time. But the only good things you can say about it is, it looks great, and the explosions and the stunts are always spot on, and the great soundtrack from Jerry Goldsmith.
So moving on to shout-outs, we'll try and be as brief as we can here. But Akira, now I have seen this. I've seen this once, and I remember being absolutely blown away by it, mainly because of the animation technique, and because some shots looked just genuinely real, and it was amazing. I don't remember the storyline per se, but it's a very good film.
Yeah. DiCaprio's obsessed with this apparently. He's been trying to make it. Some years ago, he was trying to get a live action version up and running. I don't know where that is, but
it's a great entry into the anime world if you want to watch that, and I would suggest following it up with things like Crying Freeman and stuff like that. But Akira, yes, is a very important film for the genre. Next is Big, which was it Tom Hanks first?
Tom Hanks,
he's big first.
His first kind of lead
role, isn't it?
Right, he's in Splash a few years back.
Yeah,
I want to be big.
And he was in Dragnet, which I don't think we mentioned in the last.
Which is a shame. We should have.
It's a shame, but he was great in that with Dan Aykroyd. And but no, Big was.
I love this.
Penny
movie.
Marshall. Yeah, this is a great film. She directed it. And originally, I think De Niro was keen to play this role. I think he was. He was at height of his Method Madness. He was going to play it as a 12-year-old mind in an adult's body. But no, once Hanks come on board, they retoured it, and he's perfect for it, really. I saw this one actually at the cinema when it came out.
Did you?
It was a big. I remember the audience laughing at key points.
I think the one thing that people tend to forget is there's a scene later on where he gets it on with that lady.
Oh, the lady he likes, yeah.
But they sort of tend to blissfully be unaware of the fact that he's still 12 years old. So
yes,
it's technically child abuse, but
But he's in a the adult mind, and I remember the scene in the cinema because obviously taking her top off, she's in her underwear, and he sort of like goes to
grab her
touch her, and he just like she turns the light off, and then he turns it back on. I remember the audience; there was a big laugh from the audience. It was a thing, and that's all you see, but that's all you need to see. It's not, but it was just little moments like that, but it's funny, and the kid playing his best friend was really good actor.
Yeah, he was good as well.
Really good.
I just like the whole toy thing, that he just sort of takes over the whole toy franchise of that company.
Because he takes kind of a child's perspective to see what sells to a child and what doesn't. And the great sequence in the toy shop with the giant piano and him and
Robert
Loggia, who likes a bit of red wine with ice, yeah, as we found out. Great film.
Frantic. I have no idea what Frantic is.
Harrison Ford. Yeah, this is Harrison Ford. This is a one worth seeking in his canon. This is a film. It's a very Hitchcockian souffle of a film. He plays he's just arrived in Paris with his wife. He's a doctor, and it's a case of mistaken identity. And he's it's a great shot. He's actually in the shower and you see the cameras next to his face, and the wife saying something to him through the glass. He goes, "I can't hear you," and you slowly see her sort of be dragged out of shot, and you don't know what happens. And because he's got jet lag, he kind of falls asleep after his shower, and he doesn't know what happens. So he wakes up to find his wife's missing in Paris. And it's a kind of like they got the wrong person in the wrong suitcase, and the MacGuffin is what's in the suitcase. It's directed by Roman Polanski, who's it's a great. I know, but
Hollywood doesn't like him.
Yeah, I know, but this is the very thing. When they made this film, it wasn't like his crimes were everyone knew these crimes then, but they still allowed it to be made. So it's
you got the stuff out of Hollywood.
Yeah, exactly. It's why they took 30 years to condemn him. I don't know, but at this point they did.
They did the same with different people.
They
Weinstein.
did. Yeah,
we can't say Spacey anymore because he's been cleared.
Yeah, and just from a purely visual point of view, this is a great film. And the French actress in the film, he went on to subsequently marry. She was really good actress, and she bounced off great with Ford. Who's he's frantic because he's looking for his wife. He can't speak the language. He's got jet lag, and there's a ticking clock. So it's slowly as he's going mad, and he's got a great Ennio Morricone soundtrack. The kind of it's like the heartbeat of the film, but it amps up as it goes on, and it's and it's also got one of those downer endings, which you don't get in films very often. It's not down, no. It's slightly up, but it's down as well. It's not completely happy. It's not Hollywood in that sense. But I think as a film, I think it's terrific.
Moving on to Moonwalker. Okay, so this is I have no idea what the plot's about, but it is just technically one long music video of Michael Jackson and him just sort of like throwing every cent that he could at the movie, and he goes from being a classic sort of 1930s style gangster to a robot. Yeah, just like it is just literally a showboat for him as an artist, really, and.
And Joe Pesci is in it. Is it the villain, Mr. Big?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was about to ask who the villain is. I was about to say Rod Steiger or someone. But
no, it's Joe Pesci. Yeah.
If you're still a fan of Michael Jackson, then it's all right. Guy was a legend in his time. There wasn't anyone who didn't know his name. So Police Academy 5, Assignment Miami Beach. I don't remember this.
This is the one without Steven Guttenberg.
Yeah, it's the first one about Steve Guttenberg,
okay.
And they're celebrating Commandant Lasard's potential retirement.
Yes, it.
And so he's honoured in Miami Beach at this police convention, and I guess they try and substitute Steve Goldberg with Lasard's nephew, don't they?
Yeah, Nick.
Nick Lasard.
Nick Lasard.
Nick, he's a policeman in Miami Beach.
And the premise is they have like a little thing they do every year to a police procedure.
Yeah, that's right.
And it turns out this is a real kidnapping of Lasard.
He thinks it's a show of police demonstration.
Oh, yeah.
And he's actually kidnapped by these diamond thieves who they switch. Again, there's a case of switch bags.
It's in a camcorder, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, supposedly, yeah. They
And Archie Hahn's one of the gang members, isn't
Archie Hahn, yeah.
And Rene
Arbitroir, yeah.
He's great.
Come on.
Is Zeb still in this?
No, he wasn't in it at this point.
Sweet Chuck, yeah, they were gone by this one.
They're gone, but
you've got the originals. You got Tackleberry, Hightower, Hooks, Callahan.
But the best character is, as always, is Captain Harrison and Proctor. Yeah, they have more scenes, I think, in this film, because there's more scenarios with him abroad, like he's sunbathing and they write dork on his chest in suntan lotion, so everyone's calling him a dork.
Isn't this one they go through Commissioner Hurst?
Commissioner Hurst.
They go through his office.
Yes, and they're there. They shouldn't be, and they go through his drawers and they find a bra in his drawer or something. Yeah, and so the janitor knocks on the door and he's just like, "Who's in there?" And so Harris puts his hand out the door holding the bra and he goes, "Oh, I understand, Commissioner. That's quite all right, Bob." And he closes up, and then you hear Proctor go, "Yeah, thanks a lot, Bob."
So you're nice, tidy office, Harris. Mine's not been clean for weeks. Janitor quit on me.
Yeah. The janitor's
stupid,
slightly homophobic. Yeah.
Okay, moving on to a multi-Oscar winner, Rain Man.
Oh God, yeah.
Dustin Hoffman as.
Hoffman.
I've not seen this. I've only seen parodies of it, like The Simpsons and whatnot.
This is the thing. He shows it if it's a good film. It's parody, and then The Hangover parodied it quite a lot. he's Dustin Hoffman is this autistic character, Raymond Bibbett, and he's been in this special home, and Tom Cruise plays a younger brother. But Tom Cruise doesn't realise he has an older brother until his father dies, and realises that, yes, you won't get your father's money, it's actually going to your older brother. I don't have an older brother, and finds out it's Raymond. So, of course, his initial thought is to kind of swindle it out from Raymond and through psychiatrists and say, look, he's not going to be able to think, but by taking charge of him, he says, I'm going to take him out, and he actually grows to know him and also connect with him. You know, it's a kind of a love story between brothers finding themselves for the first time, and it is quite tender and stuff, but it's funny in points and sad and.
I hated Tom Cruise in this film.
I disagree. I think he's one of his best films.
No, I mean, I appreciate the role, but, I just, anyway.
Because you hate him at first, but then you realise he does the right thing. I think he's one of the best acting films. This and the year after, Born on the 4th of July, are my two favourite cruiser roles.
Yeah.
And this has a brilliant Hans Zimmer soundtrack. Really, really, really good.
This was like his breakout.
Yeah, it's really because it's got elements of Asian music, like these kind of Chinese instruments and things, which you wouldn't normally associate with the type of film that it is. But he fuses it into the soundtrack, and it works. It shouldn't work, but it's really good. And Barry Levinson directed it. Who went on to do? He'd done Good Morning Vietnam, but he wanted to make Bugsy and all these great films. It's a classy film.
Who was the lady? Valeria Golino.
That's it.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. She's very good as well, because she kind of helps Tom Cruise.
She helps Dustin Hoffman in the lift as well, doesn't she?
Yeah, she kisses him in his first kiss, and she goes, "How was that, Raymond?" Wet. Wet.
Like my pants.
Yeah. No, he's very good. It's very good, because this is a hard role to play without
going full, as what's his name in
Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder would say, you never go full retard, man.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it's very sensitively done.
Short Circuit too. I love this film.
You like it's more than the first one?
I do.
Yeah.
I think it's better than the first one.
Yeah, I mean, you got that guy who I like.
Number Johnny Five.
Johnny Five, who
and Michael McKean's in it from Spinal Tap. Yeah,
he's not sure. It's a Bazana.
That's it. Got great voice.
Yeah, he was in Goonies, and he did an episode of Columbo, and stuff like that. So yeah.
Johnny Five is more Johnny Five action.
Yeah, Johnny Five trying to assisting to stop a bank robbery, because these guys are trying to dig underground to this bank vault, but for doing so they convince Johnny Five to do the drilling for him. He's a robot. He can do it a lot faster than they can.
Yeah. They trick him,
and they're like, if we get to where we're going, then you can help us get to what we need. I can't remember the excuse, but it's probably something like maybe we get some money to give to some children or something.
Yeah. I think the ending music's I need a hero.
That's it. Yeah.
And he's sort of swinging into action. And I remember that one. I think I saw this at the cinema.
Oh, okay.
Edgeware.
I saw VHS.
The Canon Edgeware.
Next, dare I mention it, is Taffin.
But you love this film. You haven't stopped talking about this.
Maybe you shouldn't be living here.
This is a very brief one, but it's Pierce Brosnan.
Hiding his ears again.
Yeah. He had very long hair and a permatan. Even though his character says he's lived in Ireland all his life, he's very suntanned. Yeah. And the gorgeous Alison Doody, who was Jenny Flex.
And coming up as
in Last Crusade.
Coming up Last Crusade, yeah.
Yeah, she plays the girlfriend, but he's like there's a load of land developers, and he's like a local tough guy who can take care of them all. And it's it's actually awful. I don't know why it's on the list, to be honest with you. But
wasn't his Irish accent terrible as well?
Well, he's Irish.
Well, he's Irish. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's just this. I think living in America for so long, it's kind of watered down a little bit. Yeah. So it's
all I want to add is he doesn't get mad. He gets even.
Yeah, that's it. This is the best tagline was on the poster.
Ever, yeah.
You don't get mad, he gets even. Although he does get mad when he screams that line.
Yeah. So moving on to Twins.
Twins. And Julius, I'm your twin brother.
Fucking the most unlikely pairing.
Yeah, but that's what's great. Yeah. This is Arnie's first step into comedy, really. And it works. It's Ivan Reitman, who made Ghostbusters, and it's Danny DeVito. I mean, it's great casting. It's they work great off each other. And there's a scene, I think, right at the start of the film where he's in prison, Danny DeVito, and he's sitting behind the glass thing on the telephone, you know, and he sits down opposite him, Arnie, like huge shoulders, and you kind of just make up the top of Danny DeVito's head, and he's just like, I'm Julius, I'm your twin brother. And he goes, yeah, I knew as soon as you sat down, I thought I was looking into a mirror. You know, but he uses the Arnold's good nature, because it turns out they were test tube twins. They were created to make the perfect human. And what happened was Arnie come out, developed all very intelligent, very smart, big muscles and everything, and the bit that kind of was left over was Danny DeVito. So that's what happened. So they were separated, and then he finds out that they were brothers, and so they try and find out who their mum was, because they were born by a surrogate mother, and it's their journey to do it. But I mean, it's just, you know, again, I think to see this at the cinema as well.
It has one of my favourite female actresses in it as well, Kelly Preston.
Easy. Kelly Preston.
Yeah, I absolutely adore Kelly Preston. You know, I'd shame on her for marrying or having an arranged sort of like agreement with John Travolta, but like, you know.
Well, she died now, hasn't she?
Yeah, she died recently, bless her. Yeah.
Oh.
But no, she was one of my favourite 80s actresses there. Moving on to Willow.
Directed by Ron Howard.
The last one on our list.
Yeah.
Willow, yeah.
Directed by Ron Howard, Warwick Davis.
Yeah, Val Kilmer. And Joe and Wally. Joe and Wally Kilmer. That's where they met. And George Lucas produced this, didn't he?
You did, yeah. This is straight out of Lucasfilm, yeah.
Well, he wrote it, apparently. Story.
Yeah, okay.
Story by George.
So, the fantasy film where a witch, Bab Morda, has foreseen trouble brewing, so from a child. And, wants to basically send this child to another dimension where they can get rid of him. But this child is whisked away from its safety and dropped in the village of Willow and his community. Right. And Willow is seen as a bit of a wizard. You can protect her with your magic and whatnot.
Yeah.
So he goes on a quest to
kill her, basically, isn't it?
Yeah, basically to stop this Bab Morda. And Bab Morda's got a great goon, the General Kale, played by the great Pat Roach.
Oh yeah. Great.
Now you die.
He's a great actor.
Yeah. Wears his great skull mask.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I love the sword fight at the end with Val Kilmer has that sting from James Horner.
Oh yeah.
No.
The classic James Horner sound.
That little sting he puts in a lot of his things, whether it's Willow, Mask of Zorro, Avatar.
I love that.
He used it everywhere.
Didn't they do a sequel to this?
No, it was a TV series.
Okay.
It was a very bad TV series.
Yeah,
it's so bad that Disney pulled it from the streaming services.
Did
they?
Yeah. He actually took it off. I've actually seen every episode, and I was thinking it's going to get better. It didn't. It was just awful. The magic was literally gone.
It's like Mandalorian season 3. I was like, it's going to get better. It's going to get better.
Yeah.
That kind of wraps up our best films of 1988. It's such a lovely year for movies.
There's loads we left out.
There are loads left.
Like Scrooge, we left out.
It's been fun talking about these good movies after a number of months of hiatus. Mm-hmm. And yes, we shall be back very soon for the last episode. It's very sad, and we are thinking about doing another series, which we will announce in due course. But yeah, we'll talk about that in the last episode, which will be coming very, very soon. Hopefully end of September, start of October. So without any more ado, Mark's going to say goodbye.
Farewell, everybody.
And Alan's going to say adios as well.
Adios.
All right, fellas. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.